we're all aware there's 2 vaccines coming. Okay, we're going to get one or the other. They're basically the same thing. They work in a very similar fashion, but they're unlike other vaccines that we've ever had before. Okay, they don't work like the flu vaccine. They don't work like the chicken pox and all these kind of things. First of all, it takes 2 separate shots for it to be effective. Okay, about 3 to 4 weeks apart. So be aware you're going to get 1 shot. You're going to have to wait a period of time. You are not protected during that period of time. You can't let your guard down. So it's just like we are right now until you get the second shot. Okay, then your protection goes up to about 95%. So you're still not 100% protected until everybody around you is protected. Okay, so we can't just go immediately and take our masks off after the second shot. The way the vaccines work is there's no part of the virus in the vaccine. You cannot get coronavirus from the vaccine that they're going to give. It's a new technology that actually is a piece of DNA, in a way, I'm not going to get too complicated, that tells your body to start making the antibodies against the COVID. Okay? It's new for a vaccine. It's not new for treatment. It's been around for about a decade for cancer treatment. Okay? So when I heard all this stuff, I said, oh my, I don't want to try something new. That sounds terrible. They're going to write something in my DNA and I don't want to be a part of it. Well, that was just my own fears that were based not on reality. So if you read about it, it actually is safe to take this. That's the basis of the vaccine. If you have a specific question and you don't want to ask me in this format, you know where I am all the time. So if you want to come find me, I'll be happy to talk to you privately for whatever health concern you have. But let's start with questions, and just raise your hand and I'll repeat the question you had and we'll go from there. Does that sound reasonable? Yeah?
Can you tell us about the side effects?
Okay, the side effects, as far as we know right now, are pretty minimal. And pretty minimal is flu-like symptoms for 1 or 2 days. That's your body's immune response getting to work. That means it's doing its thing. So it may make you feel like you have the flu, or may make you feel like you have a cold coming on, but that's a normal part of the response. Your body is ramping up to get ready to make the antibodies that it needs. Okay, that's the most common one. Now, people have had an anaphylactic reaction. That's a deadly allergic reaction. There were 2 people that did it. And I personally have a history of anaphylactic reactions all the time, and I carry an EpiPen everywhere I go. So I was particularly concerned about that, and I spoke with my allergist. It's okay to take it. Okay, there's no seafood product in there. There's no egg product in there. You have to be allergic to a very specific compound, and it's the same stuff that's in Miralax. It's almost impossible to be allergic to that. Okay, if you do, we have resources available. There's EpiPens around. Do we have epinephrine here? So I don't want to say that. So if you have an allergic reaction or history of it, you should bring your EpiPen with you just in case. I will when I get it. Okay, does that answer your question? Okay, the question is, do we have to take this every year? We don't know. Hopefully not. I'm going to put another part in there too. So if you've had COVID, should you get the vaccine? Yes. Unfortunately, you're not protected. What we found out is the antibodies that you produce from a natural infection disappear over a period of time, 3-4 months, best we can tell. So you should get the vaccine if you've already had it. What we don't know yet is how long will the vaccine last, or will the virus mutate and we have to give it another shot. That's what happens with the flu. We get a flu shot every year based on what we think the flu is going to mutate into the next year. So the flu is always changing. We're trying to keep up with it. We don't know what's going to happen. Okay. Any questions on this side?
Okay, so in the studies that you have, that you're aware of, are there any like particular targeted side effects in relation to a particular ethnicity group?
Not that I've seen published. Okay, I think they would say it. They would say, look, you know, if you were XYZ ethnicity, you should be on the lookout for this. They have not said that. And they've actually had a lot of people take the vaccine so far. Okay, so it seems to be the most severe thing is a flu-like symptom for a couple of days. And it's not the flu, okay, and it's not COVID. It's just your body responding to the vaccine to make what it needs to make.
Dr. St. John, if you have had COVID in the past, like my husband, like how long do they anticipate you wait to take the vaccine?
You should be able to get it straight away unless you're actively infected, you know, actively sick. You should be able to take it straight away. I know that if we don't take the vaccine, we're not getting out of what we're doing right now. Our businesses will be shut down, our schools will be shut down. We'll be doing all the same things we're doing right now until we get vaccinated. So what you're saying is that the African American community was affected more by COVID. The severity, certainly. Is there a genetic marker that we don't know about that propagated that? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows the answer to that question yet. To go back to, is the vaccine going to be effective for the African American community? They're saying yes. I have to agree with them.
I'll tell you what, you have to weigh the benefits against the risk. And it's something that we all are thinking about. But I tell you, the scariest point in my life was in March, where my husband was diagnosed with it and was in ICU with it, so he had a severe case. And he does have diabetes, so patients with those comorbidities, they seem to have the severe form, or they're affected a little bit more. So it's scary just to think of not getting it and then getting COVID, and you just wonder what is it going to be like for you. So it's something to really consider. So I'm glad everybody showed up, because we need to listen to everything Dr. St. John has to say and do our research and make an informed decision. Because
we can't hide from it. COVID is not going to go away. It's always going to be there for us. We can, we can shelter in place, we can isolate, and I think you probably see this on the news. They say, oh, it's a second wave in a community. Well, they probably never came out of isolation until that point, and they're actually getting a first wave. So as soon as you pop your head above ground, COVID will be there waiting for you. We can't outrun it. We can't hide from it. It's here. Yeah.
Are we still going to be required to get tested weekly after we get vaccinated?
That's a great question. I think for a period of time, yes. Okay, and that decision will actually come more from CDC and the governing bodies to say we have enough movement behind us, enough of what we call a herd immunity, where enough people are protected around us where we can lower our guard. We can take our masks off. I think that'll probably be one of the first things, but I bet we continue to test for a while. Okay, I think the end is on the horizon. I'm hopeful that if everybody gets vaccinated, when I say everybody, a vast majority of people get vaccinated, that we can go back to living a normal life. And if you want to find your own information, CDC is the best place to look. Okay, please don't look at Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Okay, it's not validated. We could trade these things back and forth, but it's just gossip at the end of the day. CDC is the best place to get it. If you have a question you can't find on CDC, come find me. We'll see what we can find out. Yeah.
Are there any reports of pain at the injection site?
Not out of ordinary from a normal vaccine. Yeah. So fever if it's low grade, but it's really like the body's immune response kicking up, so it feels like you have the flu. The question was, is there pain at the injection site? Okay, it should be just like getting a flu shot or a regular inoculation. Okay, you should not have an overt reaction. That's not to say that it can't happen. Everybody's different. Everybody genetically is different. Something may happen. There's no guarantee. Okay, but I think the chances are very, very slim. Like I said, I have horrible allergic reactions, and I have to carry an EpiPen everywhere, and I'm nervous about getting this. I talked to my physician about it for a long time. What is the latest evidence saying? And I'm okay to get it, as the best we can tell, but I have to have an EpiPen with me when I take it. Where we've come right now, we've come a long way. Our building is very unique in that we have not had a case yet on wood, okay? So we haven't seen, unless you have loved ones or friends or family that have gone through this and been in the ICU, and you see how horrifying this is. I work in 6 other nursing homes than this one, and I've seen what it can do. We have done an excellent job in this building, but it also has made us a little bit isolated from the reality of what's going on, okay? We feel very safe and secure here. We've done a great job. There's no substituting that, but this thing is real. It can be very destructive to our patients, to our families, to ourselves. How do we protect ourselves and everybody else from it? The vaccine. We cannot hide from the virus.
What happens if you take the first vaccination, but for whatever reason you don't take the second one?
Okay, you would basically be considered not vaccinated. You lose all protective benefit very quickly from the first one. The question was, if you take one shot and then you don't get the second shot, what happens? Like I said, if you take the first shot, you are still vulnerable until you get the second shot. So you will remain just like you were not vaccinated for all intents and purposes, okay? But the question is, if you get the shot, the first shot, and you are susceptible to catching COVID, then 100%, that's what the studies are saying. That people, when they get the first shot, they let their guard down, and then they get it, okay? So the best thing is to continue all the great things we're doing right now. If you get it, I will need to look up to see, do you need to restart the whole series? I would imagine, yeah. The shot right now is not a substitute for all the good stuff we're doing, okay? Because until everyone around us, in the community at large has the vaccine, and that may be months away. We're lucky in a way that we get it first. Okay, it sounds terrifying, but we get to be the ones out front to get this vaccine to be protected, to protect our patients and our residents. Everybody else in the community has to catch up to really get that herd immunity where we can all take a collective sigh and say, okay, we did it. We're going back to normal. Okay, that's months away still. Answered everything?
Yeah, you did good.
I don't, look, I'm just in the same spot where y'all are, truly. Okay, okay. But I'm trying to figure it out as well. I have to advise everybody here. I have to advise patients. I have to advise family members. Is this the right thing to do? Okay? It'd be foolish of me to sit up here and say, y'all got to get it. I'm not going to get it. See you later. That's ridiculous. Okay? So I wouldn't say this if I wasn't going to stay in line and get it. And I told you the truth. I was worried about their allergic reaction. I have good evidence now to get it, so I'm going to get it.